morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, happy Tuesday. I hope it finds you well out there. I'll say this, it is going to be a great show, as promised, a little delayed. We are going to be talking silver most of the show today. Go back, reminisce a little bit about the Hunt brothers. Back when they were trying to corner the silver markets. We have a silver spectacular. You're going to be, once again, allowed the opportunity to be buying all different kinds of silver at below cost today. Things like Morgan and Peace dollars. We have First Strike Silver Eagles. We have, what else do we have? We've got graded Morgan and Peace dollars for those of you that are so inclined. We got just a whole bunch of stuff. We even have a hot price on some dimes and quarters, all of that coming up. Be ready. Some of this stuff is super limited. So you gotta, this will be a first come, first serve, but take the time, get your dialing fingers ready, get your notepad out. You probably don't even have time for a notepad. You hear something and you say, yup. Yeah, you just want to hit the phone and get ready to dial. What do you call? 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Of course, the website, you already know, allamericangold.com. By the way, tomorrow we will be running a gold spectacular. Yeah, be ready. We got it. Man, what a great next few days. Right now, Jay Powell doing his semi-annual address to Congress and talking about policy. It's a 2-day deal. Tomorrow, remember, we get the inflation data, the CPI data coming out tomorrow while you were sleeping last night. Wow, gold hit a new all-time record high. I mean, we got very close to $3,000 gold last night. Well, all of us were, sitting in bed and waiting to be like, oh my gosh, please, just let me get a good night's sleep. The April gold contract got all the way to $29.70. Spot gold, $29.45. Then we had some profit taking. I'm like, okay, finally, right? Let's let a few people in here. Gold by this morning was down $20, and guess what? Yeah, no. Took it all back already. This is the kind of crazy demand. It really, truly is. We have unprecedented demand from central banks, from sovereign wealth funds. Now the ETFs, Jason, are getting involved in this as the trade wars pick up steam today. Canada and Europe saying they're going to respond to the steel and aluminum tariffs. Of course, the Chinese just said, hey, we're not even answering the phone. We'll see how all of that goes. And then I saw an interview with Donald Trump. Hey, listen, I got to say this, whether you like him or not, right? Like him, don't like him. He's got a pair of brass ones. He's saying, listen, Canada, you may need to get used to the idea of becoming part of the United States because you know what? Without us, you can't make it. That was kind of his line. I want to say it was an interview, I think it was with Hannity, and he was just like, hey, listen, right? We give all kinds of stuff, all this weird stuff that you never hear about, all this aid and all this stuff, says he's absolutely serious about Canada becoming a part of the United States. He doubled down on Gaza yesterday as well, said, listen, we'll take it over, but we won't use our troops. We'll have the Israelis guard it, and we're going to move out the Palestinians. It's got everybody in an uproar, but forget about that. Listen, that's great. I don't know. Quite honestly, the way Canada does health care and all that stuff, I don't think that's a great thing. I think it would cost them, by the way, that would be one huge state, right? Right? I mean, there's just going to be one giant state? Stop. I mean, I don't know, but the thing that I really focused in on is they were talking about debt. How can we do it? What's the plan? Where's the money coming from? And, of course, Trump talked about Musk and all of these things, and I keep telling you, there's not enough there, right? All the stupid stuff, and it's great. Listen, I love it. All that stupid crap, right? We shouldn't be spending money on any of that stuff. It just doesn't add up to a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money for me and you, right? But as far as government's concerned, no, right? It's not. But Trump hammered it home yesterday. It's all going to be tariff, 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 tariff. It is coming. Somehow, the one difference with Trump and me, somehow he says the tariffs are going to make things cheaper. I still haven't figured out how that one works yet. I haven't figured that part out. But now you know. We'll be back with the Silver Spectacular. Stay with us. 800-951-0592. Quick look in. The Dow's up 40. The Nasdaq's down 20, and the S&P's flat. So I think everyone's really waiting for tomorrow. By the way, here comes the 10-year note again, 453. I think everyone's going to really be waiting for what happens with the inflation numbers, right? We get CPI tomorrow, PPI on Thursday, oil's higher. You know what I saw? I don't know what just happened. Gasoline here in Phoenix just went back through the roof again. We're back to $3.60. We were down flirting with $3. And then kind of went up like 10 cents, 50, and then yesterday just went up like 30 cents overnight. Right now, crude oil is higher, but it's only $73. But again, the end of cheap energy concerns with Trump's drill policy. The major oil companies are kind of pushing back here now, saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't even have the ability to ship out more stuff until we build some more stuff, and right now there's no reason to build some more stuff because no one's drilling that much oil to begin, but we'll see how it plays out. Gold, like I said, down $1. This thing has been all over the place. 2907, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how long gold's going to be in 2900 range. Jason and I rightfully so told you, hey, they're probably not going to stay at 2800 for like too long. We want pullbacks. Listen, we got a new all-time record high, plus a pullback, profit taking. And then gold got to 2880, and everyone's like, no way. Hey, here they come right back in again. And that's just in like 12 hours. It just seems like every single dip is being bought here, no matter how big or how little, and just Again, record high seemingly every day. Silver was on the same ride. Now, silver didn't break out, right? So silver, while gold was hitting, almost $3,000, silver was like $32.50, something like that. Got down to near $31. Now it's right back here, right below $32 to the ounce. I highly suggest you get ready. Get your gold and silver put away. Some of you sitting on these big IRAs, call us. Get a precious metals IRA going. Be diversified. You don't have to put the whole thing there. Unless you got $1 million in your IRA, you may say, hey, I'm going to put 100 or 200 grand in gold and silver just because, you know what, I get it now. I finally are you starting to understand what we're telling you? Right? All these things. Well, I love that Donald Trump's putting on tariffs. I love that he's talking about buying Canada and Greenland and Panama and Gaza and all of these things. I love Doge. All of them are great for gold. That's the thing. I don't know, Jason, that he can do anything really wrong when it comes to gold and silver. And silver, like I said, everybody's waiting. Everybody wants to know. It's happening. Listen, a year and a half ago, silver was $18. It's now $32. Very quickly here. Yeah, very quickly here. It's going to be, the 30. It's going to double in less than 2 years. Don't be worried here, Jason. We have, the Hunt brothers back in the 70s, they kind of cornered the market, Joe. Right? Go ahead.
Real quick, Joe. I wanted to speak about the gold IRAs for a minute. Every company has a gold IRA. I had a customer that was calling. I don't think we got it done because he was halfway into doing a gold IRA with another company, but I don't do gold IRAs, so I learned a little bit more about it when I actually tried to get a customer involved to get to call into Arlene. We do gold IRAs just as good and better than a lot of other companies. So what Joe's talking about as far as moving money, paper-wise aside, we do.
I'm just going to be flat out honest. We do it better, period. Especially if you've called the dealer that what I'll call the Hannity, Bongino, Gorka, right? All these other guys, Prager, all of them. Anybody on Rockland Capital, right? These guys are 25 to 35. Well, they'll tell you 25 to 35%. They're usually 40% markups. Don't do it. Call us. It's so different. 800-951-0592. But, Jason, I want to get into silver because, again, silver's had a really good, just like gold, gold's getting all the headlines, right? Well, it's a new all-time high and a new all-time high and a new all-time high. And everybody's like, when's silver gonna do its thing? It's doing it. It's doing it. When it does it quick. That's kind of the problem. It languishes around, and then it just jumps $3. Then it kind of languishes around, and then it jumps $3 more. Then it languishes around. So a lot of the time, it's doing nothing, and then all of a sudden, over the course of 3 or 4 days, it goes up $3 and never goes back again, right? Just kind of establishes higher highs, higher lows. And again, we talked about 31. Remember 31? We haven't gone back to 31, have we? Matter of fact, today got near 31, said, no thanks, keep going. Let's go back the other way. And a little different this time. The Hunt brothers were smart. They realized a weakness in the COMEX silver markets, and they were actually cornering the silver market with junk silver. That's what they were buying, right? They were buying all of the bags, and then of course using paper contracts to drive the price. And then when people started, you got to remember, we weren't minting any silver. There's no silver eagles to buy, right? The only The only government hallmark silver was essentially old junk silver, pre-1964, dimes, quarters, and half dollars. So the Hunt brothers, they went out and bought it all. And then had their guys in the paper markets, and then no one was paying attention, and then people went and looked and were like, oh my God, there's no silver out there. Jason, that's how they did it. They actually broke the Hunt brothers by essentially changing the rules right in the middle of the game and essentially forced the silver price back down. But it was interesting how they were doing it. I think the same thing is happening today, but instead of the Hunt brothers, it's really China, I'll say, how about the East, dominating these silver markets, and a lot of it for industrial. Let's not lie, industrial is a big part of it, but there's other things going on, Jason.
The central banking system is buying it, too. It's not just China. It's China's central bank, and it's the central banks that are balancing the books. I got a clip to play. Let's play some of this, Joe, and you can have me pause at any time. I didn't realize this. I haven't even watched this whole clip. I watched about half of it. It's like a news clip from a couple of weeks past the silver crash of 1980. And, Joe, did you know that the show Dallas, remember Dallas, J.R. Ewing, Bobby Ewing, Cliff Barnes, Digger Barnes?
Are you kidding me? So you know what's so funny was Dallas was one of those programs. This is how different things are. My parents were like, they weren't thrilled that we were watching, that was, I wasn't mature enough to handle the subject matter, right? But, who shot J.R.? I mean, that was like huge.
J.R. Ewing and the show Dallas is based off the Hunt brothers. Did you know that? There's a whole bunch of stuff.
I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that.
Now in Dallas, it's oil tycoons, but the Hunt brothers were doing big business well before the silver squeeze. And if you remember, Dallas came out in the 1970s, but it transitioned to the 80s very quickly, and then everything around. So let me play the first few seconds. For whatever reason, it's an old clip. It's a little bit quiet, but it catches up. So check out the open of this, and it's wild what the Hunt brothers did. What Joe said, they found a shortage and they went for it.
Well, silver, like gold, is a favorite haven for speculators when the going gets rough.
They'll get louder.
Don't be fooled by that deceptive calm in the market. They're still sorting out the mess caused by the biggest crash in its history 2 weeks ago. And bit by bit, the true story is beginning to emerge. How a Dallas multimillionaire, Bunker Hunt, tried to corner the market. Some people are even saying he engineered the collapse to pick up more silver, but on the cheap. It's a tale involving the Bank of England and a panic that brought the West's financial system within a hair's breadth of a crash like 1929. The true story is so good, someone may even bid for the film rights. The Ewing family of that television soap opera is based loosely on a real-life oil millionaire family who live in Big D. The main difference between them is that the real family have a burning ambition to corner the world's silver market, an ambition that led 2 weeks ago to the biggest crash in its history. The real-life star is Nelson Bunker Hunt, eldest of 4 sons of the Dallas oil tycoon H.L. Hunt, who died in 1974, leaving a billion-dollar fortune to the family. In 6 years, Nelson and his brothers, with their ranches, real estate, horses, oil wells, have turned that legacy into a $5 billion empire.
Well, I don't really keep track never count my money. I just want to enjoy life, and I don't have to spend a lot of money to enjoy life. I guess probably I doubt if I spend $1,000 a month, but on my own personal success. But I don't know. I guess people are born one way or the other. They either like to be cautious with their money, or else they're inclined to want to be rather spendthrift. And so maybe I lean in my personal affairs to be a little cautious. In my business, I suspect I'm on the overly aggressive side.
For many people, the family silver is their most prized possession. But silver is widely used in industry, in photography, in dentistry and medicine. It's still a monetary metal in many countries. The higher the price, the more it hurts to buy wedding presents, take holiday snaps. Gold might hog the limelight, but silver's always had a special appeal for the speculator. Bunker Hunt's ambition to own all the silver in the world takes more money than even he can muster. The only people with wealth to match are the oil sheikhs. Hunt persuaded a number of Saudi princes to back his play. At first they hesitated, but when the Shah fell in neighbouring Iran last year, they rushed in. Henry Kissinger has told brokers in New York privately that some sheikhs reckon they have 5 years before they too are overthrown. So it's prudent to save for exile, and silver and gold keep their value.
It's a commodities room where they're all shouting to buy and sell contracts like something
back
you see
in the old days,
places.
right? The open call stuff, right? Before computers. Now computers do that. They don't actually do that anymore. But yeah, that was the old way. Be like there's really nobody on Wall Street anymore. Like when you see CNBC, when they're like, we're on the trading floor, it's empty. They do that for show. None of them actually need to be on the trading floor anymore.
And we'll play more of this in the next couple of segments after we do some of our silver sales. It's interesting how you bring the hostages and the Middle East, and how did all this silver get bought? There's no way they had enough. Even not at $5 billion is going to do it, right, Joe? And all these Middle Eastern guys started. Hey, yeah. Shaw, would you buy a bunch of silver so we can pull this thing off? And it's interesting how all that stuff was going on late 70s, early 80s, Joe.
It's kind of funny when you really think about. He had $1 billion, and he was talking about, if I spend $1,000 a month personally, right? I mean, what a different time it was, wasn't it? 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday, and we have an incredible opportunity I'm adjusting my camera here, in the silver markets today. I'm just going to start going through the list. Everything on this list that I'm going to start with is below cost. In other words, I cannot go out onto the open markets and buy these items for what I'm going to sell them to you for. I'm going to start with the graded Morgan and Peace dollars. I have 10 Mint State 64 Peace dollars at $50. Again, that is below cost at $50. I only have 10 of them. You can buy them all, you can buy one, but I only have 10. On the Morgan dollars, all of these graded Morgan dollars are pre-1921 Morgan dollars, every one of them. I have 17 Mint State 63 pre-1921 Morgan dollars at $55. Again, below cost, and that's like 10% below cost, $55. I have 24 MS 64 pre-1921 Morgan dollars at $75. Again, that is also 10% below cost. I have 11 rolls. These are assorted piece rolls. They're anywhere, you're going to get a mix. These are VG plus to AU. Most of them will be the AU variety. So a roll, there's 20 in a roll. You're going to get at least, I think, 12, maybe 13 AUs, and then the rest will be the VG Plus variety. And again, below cost at $580. By the way, an AU piece dollar is like $32, just to give you an idea, right? So $580. I have two AU 21 Morgan dollars. That's $640. I got two rolls of those. Those are not pre-21s. That's the only thing that isn't a pre-21. That's $640. And then last but not least, this is something I'd never seen before. I have 15 rolls of 2008 Silver Eagles that PCGS certified them to be first strikes. And they took them out of the mint rolls, and PCGS put them in like this sealed roll case. And you can't, you can see the coins. I mean, I tried to open one. I thought, it looks, I can't do it. It's like it's vacuum sealed or something like that. The funny part is the very first coin, the coin that's on the top, it's toned because it got the air, was in it. The rest are incredible. But here's the thing. These rolls, I looked everywhere. All the major online guys, they want $43 a coin for 2008 Silver Eagles, which is like ridiculous. That'd be like $860 a roll. We're going to sell these below what we can buy them for. I got 15 rolls. Jason, they're $695 for the roll. I'm going to grab a roll here, Jason, and then I'll show the people. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Rumble, you can see what I'm talking about. I've never seen it before. Obviously, somebody on TV probably did.
At $695, all you have to do is go to our website. I'll just do this while we're taking a look. And I'm looking at the shopping page at allamericangold.com. Joe's showing the tube. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. So, yeah, this is a PCGS. They'll grade certain items, okay, and they'll put them in a completely sealed
I can't open
case.
This, yeah.
And we're selling Silver Eagle rolls, our normal price, $765. I mean, if we had a special on Silver Eagles today, we might be able to go $750 a roll, something like that. So, and those are just regular tubes of Silver Eagle. So, right. Yeah, this got bells and whistles. Yes, it's a gimmick. We don't sell gimmicks very often. The whole thing about it is we bought it so well that you can have the gimmick for free. In fact, you're getting the gimmick less than we would sell a regular roll of Silver Eagles for. So this is a hey, you're buying the gimmick, and the gimmick is probably $50 to $60 less per roll than our regular Silver Eagles, Joe.
It's a great way of looking at it. Just call this a roll of Silver Eagles for $695, and you do yourself a little party. But it is, they're cool, and I've got 15 rolls of those. So again, I know it's a different list. It's a longer list. There's not a lot of it, but everything in it below cost and just really significantly below.
It should all be sold already, Joe. As far as I'm concerned, it should all be sold already. So 800-951-0592. You're going to go through the list again. So I heard, I'm going to try to do it by memory. Mint State 64 peace dollars. Those are $50 each, right? And there's 10.
$50. Yeah.
They could be sold already.
10 of them.
And then a Mint State 63 Morgan dollars, all 1904 and older. And those were how much, Joe?
$55.
$55. And then what was the last one?
The 64 Morgans, $75. And then you've got these assorted peace dollar rolls where most of them are AUs. Only $580. Then we got two rolls of the AU 21 Morgans at $640. And then, like I said, these rolls of Silver Eagles. I know, 2008 first strike. Oh, that's great. I don't care. You get 20 Silver Eagles for only $695.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
951-0592. Take the time to put it away. Just understand this about silver. China especially, mostly because, listen, China's the one building all this stuff. They are circumventing the COMEX. They are circumventing London, kind of like what the Hunt brothers did, without them knowing about it. This time, though, the markets know China's doing it. I'll tell you about that when we get back. 800-951-0592. There's 2 lines open. I don't know what's available, what's still left. These should be gone already. So if you want to get in here, we're running graded Morgan and Peace dollars, all below cost. 64 Morgans, $75. I mean, these retail, they're over $100 retail. 63 Morgans. And by the way, the Morgans on the graded are all pre-21s. Really pre-04, 1904 and older. $55. Mint State 64 Peace dollars, $50. We got the assorted the assorted Peace rolls, where most of them are AUs, at $5.80. We've got the 15 2008 PCGS BU First Strike certified in this crazy holder that they have. A roll of 20 there at $695. You just can't beat it at 800-951-0592. So, we were playing some with the Hunt brothers, and we kind of told you, hey, the Hunt brothers, along with some of their oil buddies, figured out, hey, let's corner the silver market, and then we'll run up the price on the paper markets. And it worked. Of course, then the government paid one, but then the government was kind enough to let the Hunt brothers off the hook, right, at the end. And they still ended up being obviously very, very wealthy. They owned the Kansas City Chiefs and blah, 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 right? These aren't poor people, right? Because, they changed the rules in the middle of the game. But if you're rich enough, right, I guess you can get away with it, right? So that's kind of what's happening today. But instead, it's China. What are they doing? See, this is how it's supposed to work. The miners go out and mine it. They sell it by taking the silver that they've mined, melting it into delivery bars. A delivery bar, we say the contracts are 1,000 ounces. Well, when you're doing gold and silver bars like in these quantities, right, it's not an exact science. So the bars are going to be between 900 and 1,100 ounces. And by and large, between 950 and 1,050 ounces. Then it's got to have the purity and all that stuff. And then they get shipped, whether it's to London, New York, wherever. Those are really the 2 main markets. Of course, now Shanghai. And then, take our government as an example, the Mint for Silver Eagles. They contract with a company called Sunshine and tell Sunshine, hey, in March, we want you to take delivery of 1 million ounces of silver for us and make the little disc and then send them to the Mint so we can turn them into Silver Eagles. Right? That's how the market's supposed to work. Well, what the Chinese figured out is, wait a minute. If we do it this way, we're probably going to drive up demand, right? And drive up prices. Well, we don't want to pay more for silver. So they've gone out to the big miners of the world and said, hey, I got a deal for you. If you sell us your silver, we won't make you put it into the delivery bars. But we'll pay you like you did. And instead of shipping it to London or shipping it to New York or shipping it to Shanghai, you just ship it straight to us. Don't even go to the exchange. And one of the things that is different, a lot of the miners, they only hedge what they need to. So most miners now are unhedged because they're like, hey, we're going to bet that the silver price is going to go up. So there's a lot of silver. Because once they've hedged it, if they've committed, hey, I'm just going to lock in here, then now that silver's got to go to the exchange. And it used to be, especially like in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s when I first started here, they were almost all hedged. Like everything they mined had to go to the exchanges. That's a much different place today, Jason. Very little of it actually has to go to those exchanges, and China's just buying the concentrate to kind of hide, right, the demand from the silver markets. It's a brilliant strategy.
And if the rumors of London are true that they're having trouble on delivery, it just makes it sure shows the weakness that the Hunt brothers took advantage of by saying, hey, they're not making any silver, and if we just grab all the junk and silverware and stuff available and then buy it in America, that we can put a huge squeeze on it. You know, the LBMA is, you know, London was, what was it? I think I was hearing 2 to 5 day delivery. Then it went to 2-week delivery, then 4-week delivery. And last I heard it might be 8-week delivery. And that shows very much so a huge problem. And I watched a video on it yesterday, Joe, and there's still confidence that they're able to shoulder this responsibility of these contracts being bought up. But if everybody starts wanting physical delivery in America, you know, shows like us telling you get physical silver, you know, there could be some trouble, Joe.
Listen, trouble's going to come. That's the thing. When everybody starts to worry, that's when the trouble's going to be here. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason. Got a line just freed up here, so 800-951-0592. Graded Morgan, graded piece, all under cost. VG Plus, AU rolls under cost. We got 15 rolls. Well, we had, I don't know where we're at now. 15 rolls of those 2008 PCGS first strike thingies. I mean, I've never seen it like this before, but they put them in this, like, I don't know, its own little, like, Silver Eagle roll, $695 PCGS certified first strikes. Just great value today, Jason, in the silver markets at 800-951-0592. And like I said, I think for a lot of people, they're like, well, when's silver going to do this? And when silver's doing it. Let's not kid ourselves. Silver is doing it. It just doesn't get the headlines like gold, right? It just doesn't get the headlines, and it does it very quickly. And I think that's kind of the thing that throws people off is it does it quick, then it consolidates, and it can consolidate for months. Listen, I'm telling you right now, silver's getting ready to come out of this consolidation phase, and I think we're going to be talking about silver between that $35 and $40 an ounce range. I think a lot sooner than a lot of people are anticipating. And I think, you know what? Then again, maybe that's wrong. I think maybe it's going to be something that a lot of people, Jason, will probably be like, well, it's about time. But this is just how how it goes with silver. It does spend a lot of time consolidating, and then it breaks out. And when it breaks out, you're usually $3, $4, $5 higher. And then it consolidates again. And like I said it at the end of last year. I said it at the beginning of this year. I would not be shocked if we see silver back at 50 again this year. There is a very good chance that can happen. Now, certain things have to happen, right? We got to have the inflation and all of these other things that I think we're going to get. But, Jason, I don't think people should be surprised because silver does have that ability. When it gets hot, like silver's like at the craps table, and when it gets hot, it gets red hot.
And when gold's moving, gold will drag it with it. Even if silver's not wanting to go for whatever reason, gold will drag it along. Gold may be in a multi-year bull market. Gold was like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 in 2019. When I first came on the air, I was selling with Patriot. And then with COVID, it zoomed to 2,000 and then kind of went into that 1,700 to 1,900 range. Popped into 2,000 again in 2021, kind of stayed in that lower range, popped back to $2,000 in 2022, did it again in 23, but at the end of 23, you see about 3 years of gold at that 2,000 range, and then 2023, late 23 into 24, it just moved. Here we are in another year where gold is moving, silver is being dragged with it. No matter how much manipulation is on silver, silver's going to go with it. And when silver becomes unmanipulated at some point, it will explode. But if we're in a multi-year bull market on gold and silver, Joe, that means any day that you buy it, every 6 month to 1 year period, it's just going to be significantly higher. We may be in the middle of that, Joe, right now.
Certainly looks like it. 800-951-0592.